shot of the Capitol in beautiful Boise, Idaho, where tonight's primetime college football game on CBS Sports Network. And just about 2 miles away, home of the Blue, as they call this blue turf here, is Broncos Stadium. The Aztecs and Broncos set to go in HD. And they had to wait a while, but finally, here come the Broncos on a late Saturday night. Well, Boise State, the only undefeated team in conference play at 4-0. Fresno State just went final with a big win over Hawaii. One loss there. San Diego State feeling pretty good right now. Can stay in control if they can knock off this team. How about in control, my man Aaron Taylor? Your Irish won today. 9-0 for the first time since he was a senior in 1993. A lot of great games across college football today, but this one, you're not done yet. 11 combined straight wins for these two teams. 7 in a row for Boise State. How does Rocky Long and these Aztecs, how do they slow them down?
Well, it's Rocky Long, so you got to be able to start with defense. The Aztecs lead the Mountain West Conference in rush defense, only giving up 125 yards per game on the ground. But they've got to be able to stop the run tonight with only a 7-man front. To bring an 8th or a 9th down will severely limit them on their back end and their coverage packages. Offensively, James, they've got to be able to do a better job protecting the quarterback. 28 sacks they've given up so far, and some of those sacks have led to turnovers. They had 3 turnovers that they were able to overcome last week against UNLV. But you remember this game a year ago, they had those 3 turnovers early in that first quarter. If San Diego State does that tonight, it's going to be a long night. 2
great defenses for Boise State. They lose 9 starters off of last year's squad. One of the best defenses in the land. And of course, offensively, they lose some studs as well. How are they getting it done?
Well, they got to get it done the way they've always gotten it done. As good as Kellen Moore was, Boise State is a run-first offense. That means they have to be able to control the line of scrimmage against a 3-3-5 defense that's going to stump and move a lot. That oftentimes takes away the aggression. They can't allow that to happen. Defensively, they've got to be able to defend the play action. San Diego State will run, and then take some vertical shots downfield. So their linebackers and defensive backs have to have some good eye discipline so they don't get themselves beat over the top.
Since 1986, these Broncos have been playing on that wacky blue turf. Everybody's getting used to that. They're getting used to winning football games around here, too. Down on the blue, the third member of our crew, Lauren Gardner. Lauren, take it away.
And, James, it is rocking here inside Broncos Stadium. If you couldn't make it to the big game and you're watching on the broadcast, you can also follow along on Twitter at LGRed, hashtag SDSU, v Boise. A few of the stories from tonight's big matchup. We have San Diego State's special teams hammer, running back Adam Uema for the Aztecs, and has come back from a horrific injury. And, of course, like you said, that world-famous blue field. Boys?
All right, LG, here we go. Be careful down there. They've been chomping at the bit all day long here in the capital city. And finally, it's kickoff time, and the opening kickoff is brought to you by Bud Light. Here we go. Boise State with the orange tops on tonight. A few unique choices here. This year, last time in Boise, they went all black. They won the toss, but deferred to the second half. The Aztecs will receive. Colin Lockett from the orange paint brings it out into the blue and has a gap. There he goes. Opening kickoff. Colin Lockett for the second time this year. Kickoff return for a touchdown. No flags. Aztecs strike first, and they strike fast.
James, you see the shock of the fans here at Boise when you're on the road. You got to be able to pack your defense, your running game, but also the third phase. We talked about this in our production meetings. We felt that special teams and hidden yardage were going to play a role. Well, certainly there was no hidden yardage on Lockett's big return there, giving San Diego State the quick 6-0 lead.
Lockett, the speedster, has been banged up with a bad wheel. The wheels are ripping and roaring tonight, a lot like a few weeks ago, early in the season, against the Army Black Knights back in San Diego. It was 96 yards in that one. Also had a return for a kickoff in a game last season. And And the junior from Diamond Bar, California, comes to Boise and goes 100 yards officially, 105. If you count where he started in the end zone, and nobody even close as he trots into the end zone against a team, Aaron, that takes all kinds of pride in playing exceptional special teams.
No question, great job blocking up front. Lockett really didn't have to do much. He did a great open field move to be able to shake a kicker, which you hope you can be able to do. But that's a rare big play early on in the ball game for this Boise State team. But James, I've covered football a lot of years. There's something called score early easy syndrome. San Diego State needs to be careful and not be too confident early on in this ball game, because this is the first time that Boise State has trailed in almost the last 400 minutes.
And how about that? Since Miami of Ohio in the first half of that game, the only game they lost this year was the opener in East Lansing against the Michigan State Spartans. Since then, it's been 7 wins in a row. McMorrow kicks it off, and here come those Broncos. Here's the speedy freshman. It's Shane Williams-Rhodes. And with that, we'll get our first look at a quarterback. It's Joe Southwick, and let's break it down with our legal zoom eye vision.
Well, one of the things you have to do to be in this offense, to be a quarterback here, is be a smart player and understand this offense. Joe Southwick does a good job of extending plays and going through his read progressions. If his guys aren't covered, he keeps his eyes downfield, buys himself some time, and has shown an ability to be able to distribute the football. Very highly effective passer, very accurate. Not quite what Kellen Moore is, the all-time leadingest quarterback in college football history, but Southwick has gotten better each week.
More on to the NFL, as is Doug Martin. His backup, though, DJ Harper, has been outstanding this year, averaging 89 yards per game. He runs into Jake Feely, though. The linebacker for the Aztecs has been playing as good as anybody defensively in the league.
James, when you talk about Joe Southwick and what he's been able to do, you mentioned DJ Harper. Boise State, for all the credit that they've gotten at the quarterback position, is a run-first team. We saw San Diego State did a very good job on that first play of stuffing the run.
Open field, making a miss is Matt Miller. He'll have a first down.
James, that's something that Boise State will do all night long, early and often. They want to be able to test teams outside on the edge to be able to get you to defend the whole field. So it's going to be imperative that San Diego State does a better job tackling than they did on that last play. The Aztecs fly around to the football, and they're going to need to against a very athletic set of players on the perimeter.
4 wides, trips down at the bottom for Southwick. Fresh set of downs here for the Broncos. Bunch of cut blocks up front as they go to the air one more time. This time it's Chris Potter. Fans want a horse collar. Finally they get one. A couple late flags.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Bearhay, the face mask call going against the safety.
Very good call with his left hand there, grabbed the face mask there, Chris Potter. Again, you'll see that a lot tonight. A lot of one-on-one matchups. Boise State does a good job with motions and personnel groupings to try and create those one-on-one matchups. It's going to be imperative that San Diego State respond and tackle well.
Holden Huff is the tight end. Looking that way is Southwick. Dumps it off, coming across the middle to Miller. Miller slips out of a would-be tackle. Nick Tenhoff finally finishing him off. And how about our players to watch, courtesy of Chevrolet?
DJ Harper, the running back, doing a good job at that position for him. Matt Miller did a great job, led this team last year in catches, having another great year. Jake Feely been Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week a couple times this year. And Nat Bearhay leads the Aztecs in tackles. We've already seen number 42 and 20 for the Aztecs show up.
And with that balanced attack, right back to the ground go the Broncos. Not much there for Harper this time, maybe 2. It'll bring up a 3rd down and short. Marcus Andrews in there to stop him.
Boise State using a little bit of up-tempo to be able to try and create some advantages in mismatches. Already we've seen some shallow crossing routes. That's something that they do a lot of, and it's going to be imperative that linebacker crew in that Aztec position for San Diego State does a good job trailing their receivers.
Big third down and short as the Broncos try to answer. And 3 backs in the backfield to block for Harper, and boy, is he ever popped. Jake Feely hit him right in the ear hole, and he'll be shy of the first down by a couple yards.
James, Jake Feely isn't the biggest guy in the world, but gosh, does he have a nose for the football. This is exactly what San Diego State needed to do early, is control the line of scrimmage. The Aztecs so far being very physical, but here's Boise State with a 4th down. Now they will quick kick it, but it forces them to keep their defense on the field and defend the play.
Broncos just 1 of 8 on 4th down conversions this year. Plenty of time for Southwick, and boy, does he ever drop it in there. Chris Potter and Southwick put it where only number 3 could get it. 1st down, move those chains.
We talked about Southwick's ability to be able to read defenses. That was tremendous touch to be able to put that football right where it needed to be. Matt Miller getting towards the sideline just in front of the safety. The young man has a lot of confidence tonight, James. Talking with these coaches, he's a fiery player, but so far he's kept those emotions in check, and it's been to his benefit.
Here's a Wildcat look now, the direct snap to Harper. Harper spins out of a couple. And on 1st and 10, Bearhay brings him down. But 9 yards on the gain, maybe not quite 10 here. And right into the red zone go these Broncos. Tonight's Red Zone being brought to you by Verizon. The Aztecs of San Diego State took back the opening kickoff 100 yards thanks to Colin Lockett for a touchdown. Broncos, their first possession of the game. Trying to get outside is Harper, and he can't do it. Rene Silawano, the safety on the stop.
James' Boise team was a heck of a good job last week and much better than they've been all season. They've struggled a little bit more than I thought they would, 94th in the country. But last week they were 80% down there. And San Diego State defensively held 3 of their last 4 opponents to 14 points or less. This is a critical set of downs here for both of these teams.
3rd and very short here. There's the bunch set. Moving out of it is Huff. Quarterback keeper should be enough for a 1st down. It will be 1st and goal inside the 5. But this is one spot when it gets tight down here in the red zone area where the Broncos have struggled. They have kicked field goals twice from the 2. Remember the BYU game?
Yeah, buddy.
They couldn't get it in offensively.
No, BYU did a great job of being physical and getting penetration, and that lends itself well to this this San Diego State front. Boise State's a little bit bigger up front. They got to get a hat on a hat, sustain their blocks, give their quarterback time to throw, and the running backs room to run.
All alone here in the backfield is Southwick. Throws it out there, diving for it was Kirby Moore, but he had to come back out of the end zone to catch it. Gabe Lemon was giving chase, so it will be a catch, but a 2nd down and goal, moving it up closer to the goal line.
We talked about Joe Southwick. I wouldn't call him a mobile quarterback, but he certainly has mobility. We talked about it in the open, his ability to be able to extend plays and keep his eyes downfield, and that's exactly what he did there with Moore. Been a long time since my man has thrown a touchdown pass in the 1st quarter.
He tosses one out to Harper and easily into the line. Answering just like that, an impressive 1st drive for the Broncos, capped off by the senior DJ Harper.
James, we talked about DJ Harper's ability. Great job of a peel block there out on the outside. Now watch this Boise State team play. Ooh, fumbled snap.
And thrown to the dirt. So answering with the 6, but they can't finish it off with the extra point, and it'll be 7-6. Matt Miller was back there taking the snap. A fast start with 8:41 left to play here in the first. Aztecs strike first, and then the Broncos answering with an impressive drive of their own. Lockett and the Aztecs with the ball back when we return. 8:30 start tonight at Broncos Stadium. Nobody left downtown. Everybody's here in Broncos Stadium, and they've got some early action. 7-6 our score. And last time we saw Harmon out there to boot it away. Colin Lockett took it all the way back to the house. This time it's Brandon Wright, the other returner, and a different result. He'll make it maybe to the 15-yard line, and that's where the Aztecs will start when we return. You're watching Primetime College Football presented by Droid Razor and by Motorola on CBS Sports Network. Boise State fans on their feet here at Broncos Stadium. 7-6 our score. They'll welcome in now visiting quarterback in just his second start, Adam Dingwell. Let's look at him through our legal zoom eye vision.
San Diego State has something they haven't had for a while at the quarterback position, and that's mobility. Adam Dingwell's got great vision, but he's also got the ability with his feet to be able to make people miss in the open field. He does a good job of reading his blocks downfield, and he's pretty fundamentally sound. Look at that, James. Exchanging the ball in his outside hand. That's about as fundamentally sound as you can get at a quarterback position when you're running the football. They're going to need Dingwell's legs to make plays tonight.
Talked with former Aztec great quarterback Kevin O'Connell, who now does the radio work on the sidelines for the Aztecs radio network. Pre-game about this young gunslinger. He said, you know, sometimes you just don't know you're supposed to be nervous. He has not flinched since he has taken over for Katz with the broken ankle. There is a flag down. No room at all. DeMarcus Lawrence has been phenomenal from his defensive end spot, the sophomore from South Carolina. And this one is not the way you want to start, it looks like, for San Diego State here on the road.
Holding. Offense, number 71. That penalty's declined. Second down.
That's Alec Johnson, who makes his 35th consecutive start tonight. Dingwell, the 6'4", 210-pound sophomore from Rockwall, Texas, right there near the Metroplex at DFW.
Coaches like his toughness, the way he prepares, and how he is in the weight room. They're going to need a tough, gutsy performance from him tonight.
Young, the fullback, will lead the way. Little bit more room to wiggle this time for Muema. Muema put the ball on the turf twice against UNLV in the win last week. They need a big night out of him. Who else do we need to look for tonight's Chevrolet players, AT?
Well, aside from Adam Muema, keep your eye on number 88 in white, Gavin Escobar. He's a mismatch nightmare for defenses. The leading receiver for San Diego State. J.C. Percy, number 48 in orange. Great linebacker. And you mentioned DeMarcus Lawrence, number 8 along that defensive line. He's kind of a very good player. Reminds me of a young man down in South Carolina that plays that defensive end spot.
Oh. Young Jadeveon Clowney, perhaps. Long arm, like him. High snap. Dingwell gets it. Pumps once. Here comes the pressure. Got it off the Lockett. Looks like he spun forward and will have a first down. Tommy Smith was right there in his hip pocket. 7-6. One exciting first quarter here in Boise. At the end of the first quarter, you're watching Primetime College Football presented by Droid Razor M by Motorola on CBS Sports Network. Just how big is this matchup between the Aztecs and the Broncos here on a Saturday night in Boise? Well, the Broncos, the only unbeaten team in conference play, winning 7 in a row since that Michigan State loss. Look, Fresno State winning today against Hawaii, 5-1. San Diego State trying to stay up top. And backs again in the handoff to Casey. Stuffed was Young right in front of him. He ran into his back. And then he bounces off and gains about 4. Tyler Horn, the sophomore defensive end, there on the stop.
James, I know you love physical football and contact. And that time, number 40, Chad Young, in the backfield. Keep your eye on him in the collision up front right there in the hole. Taking on number 13 for Boise, Blake Reno, And Reno that time got the better of him, did a good job of standing him up inside the hole and forcing Moema to bounce it outside.
Again to the ground on second down. Unable to get out of this squeeze. Here is KZ. Jonathan Brown there to bring him down. It's a secondary. Lee Hightower, a safety, has been suspended. Jonathan Brown filling in for him there. Darian Thompson and Dylan Lucart as well. And we told you about the injury to Brian Douglas. And Dextrell Simmons as well. So here's another big third down. 4 yards needed for the Aztecs. They're 3 of 5 on third down conversions tonight. Staying in the block is Casey. This one thrown high, and Gavin Escobar going to get it. He will be shy of that first down by about a yard. And here's where it gets interesting. Rocky Long, remember, back in August, promising he may not punt it, may not kick it at all once he's past the opponent's 50. Here they're in their own territory, but this is a perfect situation for a fake punt if you've got one, and a perfect situation for a punt safe unit out there called for the defensive side. Just be careful that they don't pull one off on you. Here's McMorrow.
James, we talk a lot about the phrase hidden yardage inside football games, which relates to average starting field position. Boise among the best in the country at winning the hidden yardage game. And punt and the return game is a big reason why, but the Aztecs proven stout on that one.
Chris Potter, not so sure that was the right choice. He's dropped in the hidden yardage there, hurting these Broncos. We're at Broncos Stadium in Boise, Idaho for a Mountain West showdown. James Bates alongside former Notre Dame All-American Aaron Taylor. As always, Lauren Gardner roaming the sidelines for us, and make sure to join the conversation on Twitter tonight at #SDSUVBoise. Lauren Gardner tweeting all night long stories and information. Look for her Twitter handle, LGRed.
Well, James, we talked about the importance of San Diego State needing to be able to stop this run-first Boise team with only 7 in the box. So far, they've been able to do that tonight. Boise State with only 27 yards and averaging 2.3 yards a carry. That's half of what they've averaged so far this season coming into tonight's game.
Pistol look here for the Broncos to open this series in their own territory. And here's the freshman, Ajayi. Jay Ajayi showing you why they're so excited about him here in Boise, Idaho, carrying the pack up across the 25. They want more of number 27, and here's why.
There was just a stunt inside, and San Diego State's defensive line stunted away. They got Jake Feely cut on that second level in pursuit, and then it was off to the races for Ajayi. Boise State was getting jammed up inside, so right now their adjustment is going to be to test the edges outside in the run game.
So from under center this time and stretching it out. Wow, look at Ajayi go. Back-to-back first down runs. Berhe and Siluano on the stop.
Ajayi doing a good job of getting north and south, James. This is what it is you want to do. This is just an outside zone with getting a hat on a hat. And that's what we talked about. Boise State's offensive line does a good job, but also some missed tackles again by these Aztecs. Ajayi getting it done.
18 on his first carry, 15 on that one. And up near midfield now, the Broncos. High snap, but going up and getting it. And dropped this time right at the line of scrimmage by Berhe.
No gain.
Coach Pete entering tonight, outscoring opponents, his Broncos, 135-26 in the first half. And the 7 points scored by San Diego State on the opening kickoff, a 100-yard return. In the past 7 games, just 14 points. He had 7 scored against them by Wyoming last week in the first half. Here's DJ Harper again. DJ Harper, a little bit of spark here for the senior after watching the young pup go out. Up across the 35.
James, one of the things that they do such a good job of. Excellent job by the center and right guard. This time, Matt Paradis, the center, and Spencer Gerke, that right guard, on a zone block. Double teaming the down lineman up to the second level on the linebacker. Splits him, then right there, the open field move. Shakes Gabe Lemon in the hole, who's been battling that injury. Great north and south running, and again, missed tackles by the Aztecs.
It's great to see Harper back out there. He's battled knee injuries throughout his career. Missed 2 seasons with an ACL injury. And here in his senior year, averaging almost 100 yards a game. Remember, as a freshman back in '07, he was in front of Doug Martin. We asked Coach Pete about it yesterday. He said, you know what? DJ Harper just wanted it more than Doug Martin did back then.
Well, he's the type of player that Chris Pedersen wants to recruit to this team. A guy that's a leader and takes that initiative. And when we sat down in our meetings, he said he was just so impressed with his work ethic and the adjustment that Boise's made as they're going to their base zone blocking run game, both inside and outside. No more pulling, which is preventing the penetration from San Diego State.
Back to Harper. He thought about cutting it back and quickly catching up Cody Galea and company, the sophomore from Elk Grove.
James, a lot of times when, as a former offensive lineman, when we would play teams like San Diego State that had a lot of movement, guys slanting, stunting, we would go to our zone game because it'd get everybody working in unison to one side, and it would pick up all the trash, as we would say. You're not chasing ghosts, you're not getting guys out of position, get everybody moving in the same direction, and if the back's patient, he can find the seams, and that's what Boise's done on this drive.
Another thing Boise always gives you different looks. Here's a diamond set that Ajayi will motion out of. Back to pass, Southwick. Incomplete as he looks to go to Matt Miller. No flags, although the hometown fans wanted one. Leon McFadden there on the coverage.
Leon McFadden was voted the Mountain West Conference Defensive Preseason Player of the Year because of his ability to be able to do that all last year. Has 8 career interceptions. Had a big September. So at least 1 interception in the last 3 games.
4th down and 5 now for the Broncos. Again, they will go for it, keeping that offense out there on 4th down. The blitz is there. Picked up, time, and on the money once more. This time it's Kirby Moore. Kellen's little brother has a 1st down for the Bronx.
James, we talked about Southwick's ability as an efficient and accurate passer. Sets his feet, and you're right. Great job of being able to put that football on the money. Southwick knows that he made the right read and delivered the football quickly and effectively out there to the flat to move the sticks.
Dan Paul, the fullback, right there flanking Southwick. It's the freshman Ajayi that gets this handoff. There's Largent in there on that stop. Derek Largent getting the start tonight. Eric Pinkins as well.
James, Boise's done a great job of keeping the chains moving. So far tonight, they've run and converted 2 4th down conversions coming into tonight's game. They only had done that 1 time. So clearly, Boise State wanting to be a little bit more aggressive in their play calling, and so far it's paying off.
Shane Williams-Rhodes in the ball game, the speedy freshman. There he goes in motion, and will set up shop in the backfield. Pressure on Southwick. He stands in there strong and pop. As soon as he catches the ball is bull-divined by Eric Pinkins.
That's the sort of tackling that Rocky Long expects out of Eric Pinkins. When you watch him on film, he stands out right away as being a physical player. He's smart. He takes good angles to the football. He runs extremely well, and he did a great job in the open field of not allowing the receiver to run after he made the catch.
So here's another 3rd down now, just 1 of 4. The Broncos in this situation. The pitch and a fake reverse. Look at Harper go. Gets outside. He's got a block downfield by Miller, making it easy. Touchdown, DJ Harper. Missed in the tackle is Nat Bearhay. And trying to get the 3rd Instead, they get 6.
James, this is what this Boise State team is so good at, is all the different looks that they give you offensively. I, like the rest of the San Diego State defense, thought that they were running a reverse, but it was a fake reverse that was executed beautifully.
Extra point this time is attempted and good. San Diego State 7 points came with a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, the first play of the night. Since then, it's been pretty much all Boise State and almost 175 yards of total offense. A couple impressive touchdown drives and 2 touchdowns by their senior running back, DJ Harper.
Passing the bucket. Each year, these groups work very hard and prepare for the end of the seasons. And any help you can give is greatly appreciated.
Here's Coach Pete with Lauren Gardner.
Thank you very much, James. Well, Coach, we're seeing a lot of different looks from your offense. How do you think this team has responded to that 3-3-5 Aztecs D?
We're doing okay. We got to maybe complete a couple more passes. We're running the ball okay. You know, it's not going to all be pretty. That's the nature of this game right here against San Diego State.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, the winningest active coach in the FBS will take it into the halftime locker room with a lead of 13-7. After the break, we'll send you back to our brand new CBS Sports Network studio in New York for the Verizon Halftime Report. You're watching Primetime College Football, presented by Droid Razor M by Motorola. Northwest Boise, home to Pizzlechick, where our CBS Sports Network crew hung last night, eating some great pie, great chicken, and of course some nice tunes there. One heck of a night and a well-deserved night for this crew, doing such a great job all season long. Savannah, Nalani taking care of us with the mics. And back across town here at Broncos Stadium, it's 13-7. Welcome back, everybody. James Bates, Aaron Taylor. AT, you said it. You said when you guys got in trouble with a defense that was shifting a lot like San Diego State, you went zone. That's what the Broncos did, and very successful that last drive.
There's no question. It takes care of all the junk and all the movement. Expect San Diego State to be able to make those adjustments, but San Diego State, on the other hand, needs to get their run game going, averaging less than 3 yards per carry, and I also expect both teams to take more shots downfield.
Broncos will get the opening kickoff here in the second half. Let's take a look at our first half stats, courtesy of Bass Pro Shops. And penalties down at the bottom, AT, just killing San Diego State.
There's no question. Of all those stats we're looking at, I think the one that's hurt them the most of those penalties, there's been 6, which is a lot more than you want to have. Only 35 yards, James, but it's been when those penalties have occurred that have been so hurtful.
Rocky Long's team trailing at halftime, and he talked with Lauren Gardner coming out of the locker room.
Well, yeah, guys, definitely not a man of many words, but he did say he was happy with that huge, big start that they had. But he did say, like you said, Aaron, averaging less than 3 yards per carry. They need to work on establishing that run game, and they need to work on tackling better. There were several instances where I did see the coaching staff come over and yell at them on their tackling assignments, so they need to work on that.
And tonight's game of primetime football on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by Motorola. Back at the blue. And the second half about to begin. Here are two teams battling for the top of the Mountain West Conference. The Broncos, the only unbeaten team in conference play. To start things off here in the second half, Williams Rhodes bottled up after he crosses the 10.
He needed to, and Andrews seemed to be over there in that position.
And there you see that fourth drive we keyed on at halftime for Boise State. They'll start it off here in the second. Pressure for Southwick, high and hard, almost, and it is. It's tipped, and then it's brought in by Bearhay. A couple of those penalties going the way, 15 yards of Bearhay, 2 in the first half, but he makes amends here. First play in the second with a big pick.
James, we talked about Chris Pedersen himself said they wanted to throw the football more. They did a pretty good job. Southwick was 8 of 12 in the first half, but he just simply overthrows Matt Miller over the middle. You simply can't do that. Excuse me, Chris Potter. McFadden gets his hands on it, and Nat Bearhay from that Aztec position, extremely heads up, comes up with the turnover.
Under center is Dingwell. Muema behind him. Play action pass. Plenty of time. Works over that left side, looking for Butler. And they're saying this one did hit the blue, and it's incomplete.
Great protection that time up front. When you look at turnover margin, James, Boise State among the best teams in the country at plus 1.38 on the year. Look at those teams in the top 10 in turnover margin. Combined record 78-9. That includes Alabama that had a huge win tonight. Kansas State, who's ranked #2 in the country. Turnover margin, a big predictor in wins and losses.
Here's the handoff to the Wiggly Muema. Adam Muema, the sophomore, first down and then some, up near the 20-yard line.
What makes Adam Muema such an effective runner is the power. He runs behind his pads. He's got tremendous strength. This is a power. This time he follows his guard, gets north and south, and breaks 3 different tackles by a Bronco team that tackled extremely well in this first half. But on the zone read power game up inside, Muema does a good job of making people miss and keeping his leg driving. This is the run game that this Aztec offense needs.
Muema fumbled twice against UNLV. The Aztecs actually were -3 in turnovers against the Rebels, but still won it. Throwing back, a little screen for Escobar. Gavin Escobar looks a lot like the overtime touchdown against Nevada. It'll be a first down and goal inside the 10. Jeremy Ioane finally drops him, but the damage done here.
We talked about the mismatch that Gavin Escobar is. Here they keep him inside in protection, and they just throw back, draw most of the Boise State defense. Anytime you feel like you're going to get pressure, you run your blitz beaters, which are screens, draws, and delays, and that time San Diego State ran a pretty effective tight end screen.
Walter Casey is your back. So back to pass, tucking it to run. And Mike Atkinson was there, along with Ricky Chongachu.
Great job that time of being able to beat the blitz. That was a quarterback draw. We showed you in the open Dingwell's ability to be able to make plays with his feet. That was a design-called quarterback run. But when you have good defensive linemen that can play physical up front, look at that body there. That's Canadian bacon, baby.
That's right, from Windsor, Ontario, and that's his nickname. Canadian bacon. Can he do it again? Trying to bend it back. Yes, they can. All kinds of orange jerseys. Down at the defensive end spot, DeMarcus Lawrence came in to get him.
See, James, that's what penalties do to you. Prior to that, San Diego State had that momentum that you were talking about. We're physical, coming downhill. Because of that penalty, they run a quarterback draw, get stuffed. Now the momentum shifts back to Boise State in the end zone where their students are going crazy. This is a huge third down for San Diego State that desperately needs a touchdown.
And the confusion there on the substitution was Corey Bell, the sophomore in his first start. Boise State hoping it doesn't bite him here. To pass into the corner, but way too deep, looking for Escobar, his big tight end. So you said it, Aaron, you get right down knocking on the door, and a momentum killer, an offsides, 5 yards back, and then you do absolutely nothing. And here's a fourth down now and goal for Rocky Long's team after the huge interception to start the half.
Boise State among the best teams in the country in red zone defense. They're 5th nationally. San Diego State didn't need to give them any help, and they did. They need to hit this field goal.
Dingwell will take a knee and put it down for Martin, who's 8 of 11 this season, and make that 8 of 12 as he misses from 32 out. What a stand there for the Boise State Bronco defense after the sudden change. Aztecs get a huge pick to start the play here on the blue coming out of the halftime locker room, but come up empty. It's left, way left for Martin, still 13-7. Boise State University here in the capital of Idaho, 22,678 enrolled, 22,678 lucky Broncos. They've got a great football team and a great city to live in. What a wonderful day here in Boise today, capped off with a great football game tonight. What do you say we take a look at tonight's quarterback pass chart, brought to you by Droid Razor M by Motorola for Joe Southwick.
Joe Southwick having a pretty good night, being able to distribute the football and only connecting on one of his deep balls. And unfortunately for him and this Boise team, the one turnover in this game that's official is that interception he threw on that football deep over the middle, which is a no-no for a quarterback. But other than that, been pretty good, completing 75% of his balls in the first half.
5-man rush on Southwick. And dumps one off to Matt Miller down underneath. You know, it's funny too, Aaron, going into the halftime locker room, Coach Pete said to Lauren, we need to complete more passes. You just need to throw it more, and that's exactly what they did. They came out and it cost them.
Great play call, great thought, but you got to execute, and the bottom line is you cannot throw high over the middle, particularly with bracket coverage.
Coach Chris Pedersen leading this Bronco team to undefeated seasons twice, 06 and 09. Top 13-7 here. Here's a third down with a blitzing Feely. Looked like he was grabbed by Harper, no flag, and the pressure, and had the toes in, but Potter couldn't pull the ball in. And the senior just can't do it.
They run another cross dog inside. Harper tries to pick him up. The offensive line tries to pick him up, but the pressure from Feely coming from that second level. But Southwick, give him credit for a nicely thrown ball, and he's saying, man, guys, give me a break. I'm doing the best I can with pressure in my face. You got to be able to come up with the football. And Chris Potter, a shifty receiver, and typically has good hands.
Yeah, he usually does. His head coach describes him as money. That's pretty good when you're getting in there and getting a hand on it. The return was on, and the one man there to force the punt, Dwayne Garrett, blocks it. Huge special teams play again for San Diego State. They've already returned a kick for 100 yards and a touchdown, and here in the second half they're doing it on the punt block.
Garrett's just going to come from this outside. It's a rugby-style kick. He runs right to where the pressure was coming from. As the punter, you have to recognize where the potential danger is. And there's number 48, J.C. Percy, the linebacker, that didn't do quite the job that he wishes he could on Garrett, who comes up and gives a great field position for San Diego State. The Aztecs have to convert this, but again, Boise State is very good in this area.
Garrett is a freshman. Can they capitalize here? Down deep inside Bronco territory. First carry there to Moema. Corey Bell drops him inside the 5.
How do you respond to the sudden change? The drive before this, they came up with a big turnover, got down to this very area and came away without points. James, they've got to change that on this drive. And if you're Boise State, your defense, you got to find a way to bow up and do what you've done all year, which is keep people out of the end zone.
High backs behind Dingwell. Young will lead the way. Moema behind him, scoots around and into the end zone. Touchdown Aztecs. And we're tied at 13. Extra point to come.
Great job by San Diego State responding and taking control. That offensive line running that power game on the sudden change 2 plays later to take the lead with converted PAT.
The extra point is good, and the Aztecs with the lead again at 14-13. As a freshman, Adam Moema against these Broncos last year went 119, 2 touchdowns on 13 carries when the Broncos were 10th in the nation.
14-13 Aztecs over the Broncos. It was running back Adam Moema who just brought it in for that last San Diego State score. Nicknamed Seabiscuit by his position coach because of his horse-like strength. Adam Moema had to overcome some very big challenges. He was struck in the face by a baseball bat at a graduation party while trying to break up a fight. He received 36 stitches and had a fractured orbital bone, which caused a hole in his retina. Now he had to have special surgery to have a gas bubble placed behind his eye, and it was a 2-week recovery of laying down on a massage table, guys.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I tell you what, there was nothing wrong with his vision on that last touchdown he scored.
And here's the defense led by Feely back out there for the Aztecs, trying to hunt down guys like DJ Harper, who had almost 80 yards in the first half on the ground.
Well, James, we talked about Chris Pedersen and his acknowledgement of hidden yards and what they can do in their return game in the average starting field position. They have plus 13 yards average better starting field position, tied with Kansas State. So far tonight, that's not been the case. They've been starting on their average 120.
120 this time. Hanging on is Matt Miller. Miller will move the chains. He has a first down. Gabe Lemon back in there. Played last week after missing a game 2 weeks ago with a knee sprain. Pinkins has done a good job filling in for him. Continues to play here tonight, but it is a fresh set of downs for the junior Joe Southwick and these Boise State Broncos. Lone back is Harper. Backing up into a pistol look is Southwick. And backing up a step or two is DJ Harper. He'll get the handoff on first down. Charging bunch of Aztecs for head coach / defensive coordinator Rocky Long there on the stop. Nick Tenhoff, the junior linebacker, in there.
Well, James, Boise State finds itself in a position it hasn't been in a whole lot, and that's trailing in a ball game. Tonight they've trailed for over 25 minutes so far this entire season, but tonight it's been almost 30 minutes that they've been behind. San Diego State has found a way to keep themselves in the ball game. It's a pretty salty defense that's come to play tonight.
Here's a play action pass and big time trouble for Southwick. Scrambling out of there. Incomplete the pass. It went off the turf. And DJ Harper tried to field it. Rob Andrews, the linebacker, with the pressure on Southwick, but he couldn't bring him down.
James, you and I both watched that BYU game, the re-air and the game tape, and one of the things they did effectively was harass the quarterback all night off the edges, and that's exactly what San Diego State has done. Talking with this coaching staff, they said that BYU's defense is very similar in some of the concepts to this San Diego State defense, and we just saw it on that last play. They get after the quarterback.
Here's a big 3rd down and 7. Just 2 of 7 tonight on 3rd downs. This offense for Boise State. Trouble on Southwick. This time they get him. Dropping him is Derek Largent. The sophomore got a start at the linebacker spot tonight, and he's making it count.
Derek Largent is a very good pass rusher, has spin moves, does a very good job of having a motor. A lot of times, James, pass rush is about want to. This Boise State team coming in tonight had only given up 4 sacks all season long. Tonight, they've given up 2 to the Aztecs.
There's an end-over-end punt to Vizzy from Harmon, and a good job covering there by Boise State. Last time Harmon was out there, he had it blocked, and the Aztecs scored. Can they do it again? They're up 1. They do get a fresh set right here. Play action pass, selling it hard as Dingwell. Forced to dump it off. Muema, not a bad check down option, and he'll get 8.5 yards before he's wrapped up. You know, it's only fitting that he dives a little bit early there, Aaron, because, you know, it's kind of Adam Dingwell. These guys love him, and he told Lauren right after the game, he actually thanked himself after that come from behind win against Nevada. He said, I couldn't have done it without myself.
Hey, and he was factually correct. And what I love what he did on that last play is he took what the defense gave him. When he threw that interception, trying to force it into coverage with Escobar, it was a mistake. That was a patient heads-up play by the quarterback.
High backs the give to Muema. Muema dances forward, needed to get past that 40-yard line. Looks like he'll be just shy of it. So another 3rd and short coming. DeMarcus Lawrence, J.C. Percy combining on the stop. We've called their names quite a bit on that Orange defense here tonight.
I love me some me.
Now, don't take that the wrong way if you don't know much about Dingwell.
It was a slip of the tongue. There couldn't be a more humble guy. There couldn't be a better guy to come off that bench for him. They need a big play out of that offensive line, and their running backs here on 3rd down.
Penetration was there, but dancing right around it, Muema. Muema, first down and a whole lot more. Up inside. the 20 of Boise State. And a great big hitter on 3rd and short as we near the end of the 3rd quarter.
James, when San Diego State lost Ronnie Hillman, I doubted Rocky Long's assessment that they were going to be better in their run game. But a big reason why they're better is because of Adam Moema, that offensive line, and the effort that their receivers and other blockers give downfield. Excellent big play in the run game that the Aztecs needed.
Moema runs the rock. First down, they'll run the clock, and that'll end the 3rd quarter with our score 14-13, and the Aztecs driving on the number 19 team in the nation. You're watching primetime college football presented by Droid Razor M by Motorola on CBS Sports Network. One more quarter to play here in regulation on the blue turf at Broncos Stadium. We welcome you back. Primetime football on CBS Sports Network. A huge 3rd down and short, goes 42 yards for the Aztecs, and they'll start this 4th quarter with the ball inside the 20 of Boise State. Play action pass. Dingwell. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not what you needed. Ioane, a 15-yarder, costly here on the first play in the 4th quarter as he hits Chad Young running the wheel route out of his fullback spot.
Personal foul. Defense, number 10. Late hit, out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
There's Young out of the backfield. Percy in pretty good coverage. Ioane, absolutely unnecessary. You do want to be physical, but that ball was not catchable. Dingo's got to put that ball in bounds and give his fullback an opportunity to get it, but the first penalty tonight for Boise was a big one.
First down and goal. Casey, the senior, behind Young. Gets it down to the 5. Chongachu on the stop. Here's how they got down in the red zone.
Well, James, one of the adjustments that Boise State made was just going to their outside zone game. That's exactly what San Diego State does here. Just gets a hat on a hat. Great job initially by Dylan Denso, the wide receiver, out on the outside, and then it's Moema speed after that. But base blocking, zone blocking, front side was big for that San Diego State run on that play.
The eyes offset now. Running up the gut, and there to stuff it is Darren Kuntz. The senior has had a good night. Here he drops Casey. Celebrates a little bit.
Well, it's just penetration by that defensive line inside. Trailing the back of people running some stunts on that front side. Kuntz doing a good job of getting upside in field, and that's what you want to do. If you're going to be able to stop that power run game, you've got to be able to get penetration, and Kuntz did a great job on that.
They can't come up empty here. They need to get it into the end zone. San Diego State. Hand off to Casey behind Young. Casey lunges forward. Ball. Fumble. Ball on the ground. Well, seems to me no question coming out of the pile. Adam Roberts maybe saving the day here, just as he did in Reno a couple weeks ago in overtime with the 2-point conversion. Still no official signal. I don't know how it could be Boise State ball. Remember, it was goal to go. He did not appear to break the plane, so it should be anyway a 4th down and very short. AT pleasantries going on at the bottom of that pile when that ball is loose.
Let's just
the runner fumbled the ball prior to the goal line. It was recovered by the offense. 4th down.
Not a lot of sportsmanship and a lot of people that aren't keeping their hands to themselves. Let's put it that way. Now remember, fumbling was a problem for this team last week. There were 3 fumbles for San Diego State. They lost 2. Here's a big 4th down.
Eye backs the handoff. Casey. Does he break it here? Stuffed right at the line. Yes, sir. Touchdown. There's your want-to, AT, in the trenches.
Good push. Some penetration there on the second level. Keep your eye on Casey following Big Young. Great job of covering his guy up. Some late scraping down the line of scrimmage by Kuntz and others.
Extra point here to come from Chance Martin. The extra point is good, and the lead is 8 for the visitors from San Diego. Boise State, the number 19 team in the country, has won 7 in a row. If they want to make it 8, they better get to work. And we're back. Look at that, 21-13. The visitors, the Aztecs of San Diego State, on top. And why is this game so important? Well, Boise State, the only team in conference, play undefeated. Fresno State winning tonight. San Diego State trying to stay up there at the top. They have lost to the Bulldogs. Boise State, on the other hand, beating Fresno State. Tim DeRuyter has done a fantastic job in his first year there in Fresno. A lot of football to be played, not just in the conference, but here tonight. 12:20 left here on the Blue at Broncos Stadium. Along with Aaron Taylor and Lauren Gardner, I'm James Bates. So glad you decided to cap off a wonderful college football Saturday with us here in Boise, Idaho. Dallas Burrows back to receive. Also back there, Shane Williams. Rhodes, he'll down it. Rocky Long, his 13th year as a head man in the Mountain West Conference. He needs his defense to stand up here. Good job. The second wave coming in. Derek Largent turning and going from his linebacker spot to drop a very elusive Williams Rhodes.
So impressed with this San Diego State defense, James, and the way that they fly to the football. When you throw the tape on, all you see are red hats flying to the football. One of the things that Boise State wants to do is make you defend every square inch of the football field. And you don't have to be necessarily a great tackling team if you got tremendous pursuit, as we saw Largent do on that last one.
Showing blitz and coming, both Feely and Tenoff, but able to get it off is Southwick up near the marker at the 35. Since the year 2000, Coach Pete and these Boise State Broncos, how about that? 78-3 at Broncos Stadium.
You want to talk about a home field advantage. I'm here to tell you, James, it makes a big difference. And I think we're starting to see that with Notre Dame. If I could get a shameless plug for my alma mater, that home field advantage, they're starting to get it back.
Back to pass and a screen underneath, thrown behind the intended target. Matt Miller, pass is incomplete. Here's 2nd down and 10 now.
James, it's interesting. I'm really seeing a replay basically of the BYU game for this Boise State team. They played a defense that's extremely good, extremely active, blitzes a lot, gets after the passer. Boise State in that game ran more screens, draws, and delays than any game I had seen them play since or prior, and they're starting to go to that portion of their playbook to try and take advantage of an aggressive Aztec defense.
Again, 2nd down and 10. In motion goes Huff. Back the other way. Pass is complete and knocked down is Chris Potter. And the 5'9" senior will move it up closer again. 3rd and about 3 coming up. Vanessa Harris, the linebacker, to run him down.
Bubble screens, tunnel screens, now routes. They're getting the football out of the hands of Joe Southwick extremely quick onto the edges, and they're finding some success. They're dinking and dunking, but they're high percentage safe throws that at the moment are working. But here's a big 3rd down. They're all big 3rd downs, buddy.
They sure are. Feely with the blitz. And there's the freshman, Williams Rhodes. He keeps on going.
There's your missed tackle. Big 3rd down, a chance for San Diego State to get themselves off the field. They get the football into the hands of William Rhodes without question. Rocky Long said one of the fastest players he's ever seen on film. And right there, a missed tackle allows not only the first down, but to be able to move the chains inside the 30.
Just 4 in the second half and 3 on this drive. That last one courtesy of the true freshman from Spring, Texas. Had a nice touchdown run against Wyoming last week in the 45-14 win. Here they're trying to come from behind, something they're not used to. And pass is complete to Holden Huff. Another youngster, redshirt freshman, 6'5", 213 pounds, dropped by Josh Wade.
San Diego State's running a lot of man coverage, and one of the facets of this Boise State offense is to have your receivers run off the defenders and then to come in underneath and take that cushion and be able to try and make some plays running after the football. And so far on this drive, Boise State's done an effective job of that, getting 5 or 6 yards a pop.
Under center, Southwick. He barks out to see what the defense gives him and change the play. Sets up Ajayi to his left. Ajayi blocks, pass is thrown. It's complete. And looks to be another first down. Kellen Moore's little brother, Kirby Moore, the junior out of Prosser, Washington.
Again, just man coverage on the out right there from the number 2 position. Again, running a defender off and man coverage and coming back underneath. And Southwick again putting the ball, getting rid of it quickly, putting it on the money to be able to move the chains. San Diego State needs to be able to get a little bit more aggressive, get some pressure in his face, because so far Southwick's getting the football out so quickly he has nowhere to go. Maybe you switch it up, James, and drop 8 and only rush 3.
Well, they bring about 8, it looks like, I'm sure, for Southwick. And this ball hits right on the hat of Nat Berhe. You talk about dodging a bullet going down to score.
Well, you hear the boos. The crowd wanted some contact there because Berhe knocked the receiver down. Again in man coverage, not very happy with what happened there. Again, Boise State running a lot of wheel routes. You see the push out of bounds a little bit right there. Berhe's credit, he gets his head around, but he sees the football too late. But that would have been an easy pick.
It's Harper now back in the game behind Southwick. The handoff to him, popped immediately. Jake Feely. Who else? The Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Dropping the senior in the backfield. Uh-oh, is Gimpy here coming up too.
Here's that movement and shifts that we talk about, James. Here's Feely. Again, Largent, this is just going to be a cross dog, yet if you're Jake Feely, you have to have good instincts and have a feel for where the ball's going. He takes a great angle and cuts the gap, shoots the gap, wraps up, and that's what good linebackers do. That was like one of them Brian Jones type plays. But tackles for loss, the San Diego State defense leads the conference in tackles for loss because of plays like that by their star linebacker.
Feely goes out injured on that play, and here's a 3rd and long. This one looks like it's out of bounds, incomplete. Potter, the intended target, and there to cover him was Berhe. 4th down and 15 now for the Boise State Bronco offense. 6:41 left to play.
Again, Southwick on the move. So far tonight, he's had some success being able to throw those football with pressure in his face. That one was just a little too low and a little too far outside. As a quarterback, James, you have to give your receiver an opportunity to catch the football.
Broncos need to get down inside the 10, inside the 8 for a first down. They're 2 for 2 on 4, but this one's forever. And guess what? It's complete. First down. Matt Miller goes up and takes a lick. Flag finally comes down, and they'll tack on a few more. The sophomore from Helena, Montana, one of the greatest athletes ever to come out of the state of Montana, hanging on.
Great job by Southwick to be able to distribute that football. They're going to go and throw that flag on 27, Eric Pinkins.
Personal foul. Defense targeting a defenseless receiver. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
This is just a skinny post. Matt Miller led this team in receptions last year. Been kind of quiet tonight, but when this team needed a big play offensively, and how about the play call on 4th and 15, James? We know Rocky Long in the Nevada game that we called on the road in overtime going for 2. That was a huge 4th and 15 call by Chris Pedersen, and very well executed by his offense. And now it's San Diego State's turn to try and keep the Broncos out.
Play action pass all alone. Touchdown. Big Dan Paul, the senior from Oregon. Broncos have to go for 2 at 21-19 to tie this thing up with 5:35 remaining in regulation.
And remember, James, they have to go for 2 because on their first touchdown of the game, they didn't convert on the bobbled snap when they were going for a 2-point conversion and didn't get it. So that puts a lot of pressure on them with just over 5.5 minutes to go. They've got to be able to find a way to get this. But remember, Boise State seems to have an endless supply of offensive plays and conversions down here near the goal line.
They've got to draw up a winner right here to tie it at 21. Southwick in trouble, lays it up there. This one not only won't count as points, but it's going back the other way now. The interception by Siluano, and he's dropped. And so they get the stand after the touchdown, unable to get the 2, and will stay put right there at 21-19. Coach Pete's team still trailing by 2 with 5:35 remaining here in this football game. The pressure came from Nick Tenhoff, the blitzing linebacker. Big Dan Paul got the 6. But they couldn't get the 2. Good coverage down the field, and catching the fly ball, Rene Siluano, the junior from Oceanside. As that kick return unit trots out there for San Diego State, they definitely have made a difference here tonight. Let's take a look at some other Geico difference makers from tonight, Aaron.
Well, Eric Pinkins setting that physicality standard of excellence for this San Diego State team that's played extremely aggressive and, in my opinion, winning the physicality contests. And for Boise State, DJ Harper doing what he's needed to do to be effective on the ground. Had a couple big runs that really put his team in position. And when he got down on the goal line, he was able to find a way to get inside and get his team the points that they needed.
Price and Lockett back to return. It will be Lockett. He went 100 yards earlier. This time, he'll go just over 20.
James, remember last week against UNLV, San Diego State went to its 4-minute offense with almost 7 minutes left and controlled the ball and ran the clock out. They need another heroic effort here against this Boise State team to control the clock with this lead, 2 points, to not give this Bronco offense an opportunity to be able to come back on the field. I talked with offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig this week, and he said, I said, is there anything better than to be able to run the football, control the clock for 7 minutes as an offensive coordinator? And he said, buddy, I don't know if there is. To be able to run that many plays back to back without making a mistake is phenomenal, and the Aztecs need another effort like that here on the road for a big win in this program.
Go heavy to the right, they go that way. Again, Moema had 4 on his first carry this time. He has over 6. Enough needed to move the chains. Chongachu is there, but a little too late. First down.
What I like about this run by Moema is he's patient. Look at that. Sits there, waits, does a great job of jump cutting, getting north and south, not a whole lot of wasted motion, following his big blocker up front, Chad Young, which picks up Kuntz that time, a defensive lineman, and that's a pretty fair fight there, James.
The last time Boise State went up against a fullback, it was the first game of the year. Michigan State, the Spartans, handing the Broncos the only loss on the year. Since then, they've won 7 straight, but that streak in jeopardy right now unless they can get a big stop as we near 4 minutes left. And where are we? We're here on the blue, Broncos Stadium in Boise, Idaho, for a Mountain West showdown. I'm James Bates, and I've got the two-time All-American from Notre Dame, Aaron Taylor, next to me, Lauren Gardner down on the sidelines. You can finish up this game by joining us in the conversation on Twitter at #SDSUVBoise. 21-19, the number 19 team in the nation in trouble here. Last time they had 5 wins in a row, 1995. They have never been to 3 bowl games in a row. And they've gone to back-to-back bowls. They are now bowl eligible, San Diego State, with 6 wins here coming into tonight. They want more, though. Perhaps a Mountain West Conference title in their last year in league play. Both of these teams will head to the Big East in 2013. Trapped in the backfield on 2nd and long, Muema, and he goes backwards. Penetration was there.
J.C. Percy again doing a great job of diagnosing the play. And Adam Muema maybe too patient on the sign. The snap was a little bit high, and that maybe have thrown the timing off. But it seemed like Percy got to the backfield and cut away his lanes. But that's 2 back-to-back lost yardage plays. Looked like Muema's right knee touched the ground before he was even tackled. A little bit further back from that. But this Boise State defense, James, is showing up on this drive.
3rd down and 13 now. Under 2:40 left to play. 4-man rush. Time for Dingwell. He has a guy and a completion. He went to Escobar. Did he bring it in?
Looked like he was bobbling it to me at first look.
Wow, a 4th and 15 picked up by Boise State on the previous drive, and here's a huge 3rd down for the Aztecs.
Dingwell's looking the whole way to his favorite big target, Gavin Escobar, who does a good job on Ioane and one-on-one coverage. And it's not often, again, on a wheel route that you have a mismatch with a tight end on a safety. But that's what Gavin Escobar brings to the table. That was a huge conversion.
Fresh set of downs, 3 timeouts remaining for both of these teams. Play clock going down again, milking every second here in this game. Muema, a short gain, Chongachu on the stop. And the Broncos will have to start thinking about stopping this clock. They'll do just that using their first primetime football, baby. 2:03 left to play. Some concerned fans. They're not used to being down late in a football game. 78-3 here at Broncos Stadium since 2000, this home team. Let's take a look at tonight's Macy's play selection for the San Diego State Aztecs. Totaling up of 254 yards, 37 carries for 149. And they want to just keep it on the blue, milking out this clock. Broncos using their first time out there to stop it at 2:03. Here we go on 2nd and long, Muema. And Muema doing a good job of staying in bounds. Ioane brings him down, and the clock, well, the clock stopped.
Timeout. Boise State. 2nd charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
That's Escobar in motion. The slot man. A handoff to Muema. Adam Muema behind Young, dances. J.C. Percy drops him 2 yards shy of the 1st down marker. And once again, the clock will stop.
Timeout. Boise State. 3rd and final charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, Aaron, 4th down and short. Rocky Long, rather, at Nevada on the road in overtime, goes for 2. This seems to be a very similar situation. Wheels turning, perhaps, inside the head of the 2nd-year head man there at San Diego State. There you see the average starting field position. You talked about those hidden yards. And look at that, the Aztecs just the own 43. And here they come. The offense back out there on 4th down and 2. Game on the line, no timeouts left here for Boise State.
You said it, if you're San Diego State and you want to take the step to the next level in your program, these 2 yards, you have to find a way to get it.
on the road at Broncos Stadium, where nobody comes in and wins. Dingwell changing the play clock going down. They barely get it off. First down. San Diego State has a first down. And there's a flag as Chad Young comes in and gets a cheap shot at the end of that play. Will go 15 yards back the other way. But with a fresh set of downs, there's nothing that Boise State can do to stop this clock once they get it all figured out.
You love the aggression of Chad Young, but you can't have that decision. There's going to be a run through this side. Backside, Nick Imbernati does a great job. Moema gets in his outside hip just like he's supposed to. He's patient, waits for his blocker, cuts up inside, and gets north and south underneath the block, which is what he missed a couple times before. Perfectly executed power run to the left by the San Diego State team. When I've watched the Aztecs tonight, James, they've ran that play maybe 12 to 15 times out of slightly different formations, but it's the same play, and Boise just simply hadn't been able to stop it.
And how sweet does this victory formation look for a San Diego State Aztec fan here on the road against the number 19 team in the nation, Boise State, handing them their first loss here in 2012 Mountain West Conference play. How about the job there on that fourth down? Nick Imbernati making his 43rd career start. The 300-pound senior truly laying it all out and laying it on the line. So Moema can get 2 and a few more. And again, Dingwell will back it up and take a knee and let this clock drain down. And with this, as we go under 30, we can give you one more update. Fresno State already a winner here tonight, and we've given the Aztecs 5 wins as well. They'll move to 7-3 here in Rocky Long's second year. Boise State will move down to 4-1 in conference play. San Diego State will take on Air Force next weekend.
James, I have to mention the great job that offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig did tonight, and offensive line coach Mike Schmidt, and the effort that his boys did up front. When they needed to get the yards, they found a way to get them, and none was bigger. And again, for 2 weeks in a row, San Diego State finds a way to bleed more than 6 minutes off the clock by controlling the line of scrimmage.
And they come in and make the Broncos bleed their own blood. How about Rocky Long rolling the dice time after time after time? And there's that cocky grin that opponents are not going to like very much at all. And Rocky, he goes overtime for 2, wins it on the road in Reno, and gets an even larger win against a top 20 team. Wow, Aztec fans that made the road trip, certainly happy they did. They saw a great big win, one of the biggest in program history for the Aztecs. We'll be back here in Boise to wrap things up right after this.